Welcome back. As promised, we're going to take a closer look at what's going on in Germany. Germany is back. Germany's conservative chancellor in waiting, Friedrich Merz, announced on Friday. He has managed to secure the support of the Green Party for his radical plan to increase spending on defense and infrastructure. Now, a parliamentary vote is to take place next week. To discuss the shift that we're witnessing in German politics and what it could mean both for the country but also for the EU, I have Bartosz Wieliński, Deputy Editor-in-Chief, Gazeta Wyborcza, with me right now. Good morning, sir. Delighted to have you with us. Thank you for joining.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with getting a better sense of what this three-party plan actually includes.
Well, this is something which didn't happen in German parliamentary history for, 30 years. Well, first time after the reunification, the old Bundestag, the old German parliament, after the elections, decided to, sit again and, deal with a new proposal that requires the amendment of German constitution. In German constitution, there's a provision called Schuldenbremse. That means the break of new debts. So they have created a limit to the budgetary deficit, or think like that, and the state can't borrow more money than actually it has. And it was good 15 years ago when the euro was struggling with enormous debt, especially in Greece and in Spain, in southern countries. But nowadays, when need of investment in infrastructure, military, especially military, in those dire times of confrontation with Russia is there. The Schuldenbremse, this limit of debt, is a problem for country because they would need to invest more and they need to borrow money and they simply can't because of the law. And because this is written not in normal law but in the constitution, German constitution, that requires the majority of 2/3. And because the problem was very urgent, you need to do it right now to start investing in German army, and German army is in desolate condition. And the elections, the outcome of these elections we had 2 weeks ago wasn't that good as maybe should be, because there is a AfD in parliament, which is a very strong party with the support of 20%. The old Bundestag with old, composition, is able to change the constitution without asking AfD or other leftist party, the Linke, of support, which they certainly wouldn't give. And finally, three major German parties, the Christian Democrats, the Social Democrats, and the Greens, agreed to change the constitution in order to increase the spending on military infrastructure and also the climate resilience, climate change resilience, Klimaschutz, so the protection of the climate. It could be translated like that, but the idea is to make Germany more climate friendly and modern in terms of producing energy from renewable sources and so on. So the deal is there, and that should be voted soon.
Right, so sweeping the changes to, the sort of changes to the borrowing rules and 500 billion euro for infrastructure, these are some of the provisions of this plan, and it needs to be voted in next week, as you said, because the makeup of the new Bundestag could be not so favorable to these changes. Yeah. By why is AfD and the left opposing these changes?
Well, because this is about the military, and this is about reinforcing the place of Germany in Europe, and the money could be spent somewhere else. And the left is the left is pro-Russian party. Well, let's be clear about that. Has been infiltrated by the Russians, has roots in Eastern German Communist Party. The AfD is also infiltrated by Russian and Chinese intelligence. And being cynical and blunt, it has to be said that Russia is not in favor of increasing of Germany and NATO's military strength. So that's the one explanation. The other explanation is that both parties are calling for the end of the war on Putin's term, unfortunately, and they have some resonance. They found some resonance in Germany. The part of German society is very, very pacifist due to the history. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we would rejoice on that Germans are pacifists, because we experienced what did it mean when Germans were warmongering. But now this is quite a different situation. And so part of the German society that is afraid of the war, is afraid of escalation and wants peace and don't care about Ukraine. The Ukraine is still, for some German people, this is still something they don't bother. They know nothing about it, and well, they simply don't
Right.
care. And this pro-Russian sentiment is also important. So please note that when Germans talk about reunification in the year 1989, for many, the hero of that period, the person who contributed the most for the reunification of Germany, is not Lech Wałęsa, is not Václav Havel, it's Mikhail Gorbachev. So they believed in perestroika and changes in the Soviet Union that allowed Germans to be reunified. So there's also a very positive sentiment, which translates on those, history of German-Russian relations from 19th century, and also has some impact. But hopefully there is a government who could steam against those feelings.
Right, because if these changes are voted in, this means that Olaf Scholz could release €3 billion in funding for Ukraine almost immediately.
Yes.
But now, is there any chance that it will not be voted in? Could anything happen, or is this certain?
No, it seems to be certain. The problem is with the Greens, because you need a majority of 2/3 to pass that law changing the constitution. And Social Democrats and Christian Democrats, they needed support of the Greens. And the Greens were reluctant because they felt a little bit offended because they proposed the changing of the constitution before, and the Christian Democrats didn't want to agree on that. They also have their political struggle in the party, that struggle about the direction which the Greens should go further. Should they be, more mainstream party, or should they contest this government? But finally, there was a hard bargaining. There was a very hard debate, and representatives of Green were, frankly, rude towards future Chancellor Merz, calling him a person who breaks the word, who has no confidence, and so on. But finally, after the bargaining, after making, a standard politics, they found a deal and got funding for protection of the climate. The climate is the important issue for the Greens, one of the most important issue of the Greens. But let me say that the Greens were also anti-Russian. The Greens, in terms of supporting the Ukraine, the Greens were the number one German party. They had no illusions since 2014 what the Russia was, what the Russia could be, and they were steady in their approach to Russia, and we also need to be thankful for them for being honest and straightforward on that issue.
Right. So do you think that under Friedrich Merz, Germany will take on a more leading role in supporting Ukraine, perhaps?
Well, all depends on the situation in Ukraine, of course. All depends on the situation in the United States. But I think that this period of reluctance of Germany, especially in providing more sophisticated military help, because Germans got no problems in supporting Ukraine with standard guns, ammunition, defense system, and so on, which are of course costly and also sophisticated. But in terms of these Taurus missiles, which are now more needed than before, because the surplus of American missiles is almost empty. The storage, the supply of American missile is not existing. So they need, the Ukrainians need German missiles, and Friedrich Merz promised to deliver them. And of course, he'll be in the coalition with SPD, so with the Social Democrats, who are in charge, who are in charge now, and the current chancellor is a Social Democrat. But there is also a change within the Social Democratic Party and all the group of politicians who used to be influential, and they used to praise Putin as a Democrat. They are being replaced from the party. They are being considered as the burden. So let's hope that they won't have any, importance for the new coalition. And well, Friedrich Merz declared that many times that he would increase the spending. This is not about internal politics. This is also a problem of significance of Germany in this new.
Right.
Situation with Donald Trump attacking Europe, all those statements made by the J.D. Vance, Germany. Well, Europe needs Germany. Europe needs a strong German voice opposing that effect. So the weak Germany being infiltrated by Russian, Chinese, or well also American secret services, that won't be any good thing for European development. Also, Poland needs a strong German army and well, strong German country. Let me remind you that in case of Russian invasion, German divisions are to be sent to help us and the Baltic states. So well, we need to have strong Bundeswehr.
Absolutely. I wanted to turn to defense in a moment, but since you've mentioned the US, I couldn't help but, speak about Donald Trump and his infamous tariffs. Right, because I have a statement here from the head of the German central bank. He's saying that ongoing U.S. tariffs could push Europe's largest economy into a recession. And the debt brake that we've been discussing, of course, was introduced in 2008 after the financial crisis, right? And now we have this, loosening of some of these controls and tariffs on top of that. What could it lead to?
Well, of course, there's a danger, and German economy is in recession right now. Isn't doing well, of course, and that's why they want to invest so much money, 500 billion euro in most, in the infrastructure. The infrastructure in Germany is in desolate condition. So the number of bridges that are on the brink of collapse, the number of railway connections that are not working, the railway that is always late, things like that. So if you invest in infrastructure, you create also a growth in the economy. So that could be a remedy, that could be an impulse that would push German economy forward. And as the European economies are interconnected, there will be also a push for economies of neighboring country, like the Polish one. And when speaking on the recession caused by the Donald Trump's action, it must be also remembered that Donald Trump is hampering economy in his own country, because the tariff, this is a sword that has double blade and cuts also a person who uses it. So if he starts this trade war with Europe, American consumers will be also struck by that, and there will be a rise of the inflation. Well, this is elementary. I don't have very deep economical background, but this is, even for me, this is obvious that all the problems will appear. We observe that in this case of peace in Ukraine, that Donald Trump is returning to the position he was starting from, and maybe that will also end this trade problem with Europe. Will also end that Donald Trump would recognize the situation and will return to the position he has been taking in the beginning. Well, let's hope for that.
Right. He has often changed his mind in the past, so you never know with Donald Trump.
Every day, sometimes.
Bartosz Wieliński, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Much appreciated.
Thanks at all. Bye.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP.